The Human Loop podcast, powered by Ethereum. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Human Loop podcast. This is one of our weekly Loop episodes where I'm going to talk about everything that's happening in the world of AI and the interface of AI and human leadership. And what's really interesting this week is there's been some reports that have come out that have talked a lot about the leadership crisis and accountability when it comes to business day to day. So there's a sprinkling of AI in here and it's really, really important. But ultimately, what we're looking at is that 71% of leaders have, in a recent survey, have said they're experiencing high stress, with 40% saying they're considering leaving their roles, it's a crisis. If you think about the people in your organization who drive performance, productivity, and engagement of the rest of your organization, it's those team leaders, that middle management layer that still are critical to every organization's success because they're the conduit, they're the coordinators of your teams, they're the coordinators of your suppliers. They often face off with your customers as well. And so they're a really, really rich source of knowledge within your business. They're also the people that delegate projects, delegate work, look after sales teams. And so having 71%, imagine 71% of the managers in your business experiencing really high stress, right? And 40% considering leaving their roles. Like, what is that going to do to your growth plans, your revenue, your profitability and retention? But importantly, the talent density in your business as well. And talent density is a phrase that I am seeing more and more often. There's a lot of talk about actually, how do we make sure that of the people that are in our organization, we are increasing the density of talent and capability, and emotional intelligence falls into that bucket of the human capital within our organization. And the move here really is about protecting margins. Business margins are at an all-time low. And this is because of automation. It's because of global macroeconomic conditions as well. It's also because of the competitive landscape, I think, as well. So what we're therefore seeing is if you have tight margins and you have a business that is running lean, what you need to make sure is that you have this talent density within your organization. And the key to unlocking that is going to be how well your leaders, so from team leader level all the way through to the C-suite, are able to engage their employees and understand how engaged your employees are. To be able to do that in real time is going to be fundamental as well. And that's something that I'm really excited that we can offer through Ethereum, that real time engagement piece of really getting upstream to understand behaviors and actions of your teams before they become downstream problems like performance plans, poor behavior, toxic culture, deviation from your culture even. So that's really, really important. Now, 40% of your managers leaving their roles. Why do we think that might be? It says that, they're feeling high stress. I think it's prolonged chronic high stress over a number of years now. If you go back as far as, 2020 and COVID all the way through to with a 10th of March, 2026 now, there hasn't been a period of low stress for people in a management or a leadership role. And so what we're seeing is this chronic period of high stress, uncertainty, but importantly, consistent change. My question to you is, if you're a leader and a manager out there, are you aware of how change works? Are you aware of how much change you're accepting within your team? Are you pushing back? Because it's really important that you're able to say not yet to some changes that are coming across your organization, or yes but. And not yet and yes but are such powerful tools as a manager and as a leader, full stop. So not yet it's not a no, it's just we are focusing on this priority right now. Let's land this, get some ROI from it, and then move on. And yes, but is a signal that says, yes, we can do this, but I need you to understand that if we're going to be doing this in a world of finite resources, it means we're going to stop doing something else. So yes, but, and not yet, really, really powerful tools. There's another thing that's come out in research this week, which is that 50% of CEOs believe that their jobs depend on getting AI right. Now, a record number of CEOs left their roles last year. Not just, I think, because they were getting AI wrong, because the AI landscape is moving so quickly that I think getting AI right is really a series of experiments, and making sure you're hedging and stacking the deck in your favor on really what's going to shift the dial. But ultimately, this focus on getting an AI agenda right for CEOs is bubbling to the surface more and more. And one of the challenges with this is that 95% of AI pilots fail because it's due to poor integration. Now, when you look into what poor integration really means that the change management piece wasn't done internally. So the supplier who's got what has been deemed as a really useful AI tool to help their customer, or if you're doing it internally, the internal supplier or the internal creator of that AI tool hasn't managed the change management piece really, really effectively. Now, I've seen this in us launching Ethereum and supporting the customers that we're supporting now with Ethereum as a leadership intelligence platform to help managers in the flow of their work day to day consistently improve their team's engagement and performance. Some of the mistakes that we've made, and I'll be really candid with that, is really, really not wrapping our arms around those users early on and making sure that they understand the why, the how, and the what, in that order. The why, the how, and the what for this change. And when we look at why, it's really simple to look at the change equation. And the change equation states that people will only change if what's in it for them is greater than the status quo. Why would they change otherwise? Unless I believe that the future, the change in behavior and activities and processes is going to be better for me than the status quo, then I'm going to resist change. And this is something that I've reflected on, that we really need to increase the why and make it land for each individual person when we're changing things in our business, even micro changes. We must communicate that, and we must share it really, really clearly across multiple channels, multiple times. Think about this as an internal marketing campaign. And then the how, like, how do you actually use this new tool? How is it in the flow of your work day to day? And then the what. What is it? What are you going to do with it? What do we expect to change, etc.? If you follow that process, then I believe you stack the deck in your behavior. And particularly with managers, it's then about understanding the difference between knowing what to do with your new AI tools and doing it. And the difference here can be vast. And one of the simple ways that you can overcome that knowing doing gap is making sure that the tools you are using are super low friction. By that, I mean they're in the flow of your employees' work day to day. So they're already embedded in the tools they're using day to day. And then also that you're making sure that they are seeing ROI and value from it themselves. And you can aggregate that up and look at the ultimate ROI and then share those wins and use cases that people are seeing internally. So I think there's a community and tribal aspect to how we can overcome that 95% failure problem of AI pilots failing. The other bit is you've got to show some love, investment, and care and empathy to your leaders and managers. With 71%, currently experiencing high stress, and 40% considering leaving their roles. If they are leaving their roles for individual contributor roles within your organization, or if they're leaving to go to your competitors, this is a massive brain drain for you. And it's the reverse of this talent density piece that we are seeing. The businesses that are getting this right now, they've nailed this talent density piece, and they have great retention scores, particularly across their management cohorts, because they know this is where the business intelligence, the heartbeat of their organizations are. And if they want to grow, tenure, employee lifetime value is going to be really, really critical as the world only gets faster and more complex in that layer of management. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Weekly Loop on the Human Loop Show. Please feel free to reach out to me for any questions, queries. Other than that, I will see you next week on the Human Loop.